I have two questions, one on procedure for Paolo Ruffini and one for His Eminence. I'm trying to understand, so in each of the modules, there are different worksheets. So only a certain number of groups will be dealing with a particular worksheet for that week. I'd like to ask you, what is the relationship of the report that is developed by those small groups to the final document? What is the process, and who will decide? I'm assuming it would be the commission for the synthesis report. Who will decide which interventions go into the final report? If that's clear. And for His Eminence, Cardinal Tobin, as you know, being from the United States, and you had mentioned that when the church's doors are open, yes, sorry. When the church's doors are open, the church is more beautiful. Many Catholics who go to the traditional Mass, we might think of our own country of the United States, have even been banished from their parish church. This has happened in Washington, D.C. It's happened in other dioceses where there was the traditional Mass, and then the people were sent away, and the traditional Mass was banished from that parish church, even though these parishes and communities were thriving, seeking to live a good Catholic life. What do you say to the Catholics, particularly, let's say, from the United States, but not also here in Europe as well, who do not feel represented here, and who have not, there's nothing in the Instrumentum Laboris to address these people's concerns? What would you say to those Catholics who do not feel welcome?
Well, I would say the experience of feeling banished is something that is sadly part of the signs of the times, not simply for people who very much love the traditional Mass, but when I was Archbishop of Indianapolis, we had to close some parishes because they simply had lost their original purpose. And for example, there was a series of them that were built along a railroad line that no longer existed. But the resources of the diocese are not without limits, so we had to, with the people, discern what was the way forward. And we had to make some very painful decisions. And I would, in announcing the closure of parishes, I always tell people, if you think I'm being unjust or that I haven't heard, this is how you appeal it. And there was an interesting experience. In Newark, after a year or two, I received a letter from Indiana that the sender sounded familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. Something that happens with old age. And it turns out it was one of the people who was very, very upset about the closure of their parish, and in fact had appealed it to the max, as far as you can go in the Catholic Church, to the Signatura. And then after 2 years or 3 years or whatever, in a very good new community, they said, this was good for us. We didn't know it at the time. Now, that's probably not totally, I can see it's not satisfactory to you. With people who love the traditional Mass, they're still under the conditions of the two motu proprios, as well as the decisions of the Dicastery for Divine Worship, and there still is opportunities for it, but not perhaps what they've been accustomed to. So I know that it is not, it's caused a lot of grief among people who particularly identified with that Mass, but I don't think they've been banished from the Catholic Church. Thank you.